Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Philosophy of Fitness podcast, episode number 77. My name is Haley. I'm going to be your host today, and every single day that you are tuning in, my friends, hello and welcome back. If you're new here, we're going to be diving into the rabbit hole today. We're going to be talking about the CERN Collider, Mandela Effects, and also parallel universes and some conspiracy theories that are revolving around the CERN Collider. So definitely stay tuned if that sounds like something you're interested in. Before we get started, I just want to shout out my shirt, if you guys can see this. Is so sick. It's from Boss Dog. They're an artist on Instagram that I follow, and I think they're a couple, but I'm going to tag them in the comments because I have been obsessed with them forever. Like ever since I found them, I've been obsessed with their brand. I wish you guys could see more of what this shirt is, but I reached out to them and they were kind enough to send me over some merch. So thank you, Boss Dog. I'm so excited to be rocking this shirt. They sent me some other shirts and stuff too. So I'm really excited. They're literally my favorite artists. And I'm pretty sure that I manifested this collaboration or encounter, if you will, using my mirror method, which is a whole nother rabbit hole that I want to do a podcast on eventually. I've talked about that a lot on my TikTok, but I digress. Well, actually, I don't digress because speaking of TikTok, I have some life updates, some things that I have been dealing with. And TikTok has been kind of a nightmare lately. Like, I love TikTok so much, don't get me wrong. But I've been dealing with impersonators. And I had 2 accounts that were impersonating me. Luckily, they were both shut down. But you know, now a friend of mine sent me that there's another account that's impersonating me. And the biggest issue that I have with this is like, yes, the impersonators are annoying, but the biggest issue that I have now is that my account has a strike against it because I made a video, or I made a story rather on TikTok telling my followers, hey, you know, there's people that are impersonating me. Can you please go report this account? Go block this account, report it. They are fake. They are not me. They're using my videos and they're messaging people trying to offer them psychic readings, which obviously I would never do. I would never send someone a cold message offering them a psychic reading or telling them that something bad is going to happen to them, which is basically what this person did to one of my friends. So I tried making that video and then TikTok said, nope, you've got a strike against your account. And apparently I had a strike against some other video I had made about manifesting like months ago that I didn't even realize I had violated some sort of community guidelines. So this was my second strike. So now my account is at high risk of being restricted, which sucks. And I literally didn't do anything wrong. And it's a very frustrating situation because I just want my account to go back to being as it normally is. Not restricted. Like I literally didn't do anything wrong. So it's a very frustrating situation, but I appreciate anybody that reports fake accounts. I'm Haley Noel is my only account. Okay. I don't have any backup accounts. I don't have any secondary accounts. And like I said, I will never message someone offering a cold psychic reading. So if you are someone that's on TikTok, if you already follow me on TikTok, please do me a favor and report any of those fake accounts that you see to try to get them off the app. I'm contacting someone at TikTok currently to try to get the strike on my account removed. So I'm really hoping that everything is going to be resolved with that. But like I said, it's just a frustrating situation in general. And it's unfortunate that there's people out there that are trying to prey on others by, you know, convincing them that they could have like a psychic reading or something, or that something bad is going to happen. I mean, these people are scammers. You know, at the end of the day, they're probably looking to make money off of somebody who thinks that it might be me and it's not me. So while it is flattering to have someone impersonate you, I will say it's also kind of a nightmare, especially if you're in a situation like mine where you did nothing wrong and now you're sort of being punished. So I've been a bit frustrated with TikTok. That's why I haven't made as many videos on there lately as I normally do, just because I wasn't sure if I was shadow banned because of this. I kind of thought that I might have been for a few days because my views were really dropping drastically. And I don't know if your account is flagged on TikTok, if they limit how much they're showing you to people, but it seems to be going back to normal now. So I'm grateful for that. But yeah, that's like my biggest life update. It's been a frustrating situation to say the least. But before we get into today's topic, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break for an ad read. As I always do, you know, I like to kind of announce what's been going on lately. I want to remind you guys that the 21-day mindset program is still up. It's available. It's completely self-paced. It's basically 21 days that help you learn how to use the law of attraction so that you can align with your fitness goals. Because I feel like a lot of us don't realize the connection between the two. And I think it's really powerful when we start to apply manifestation and the law of attraction to how we show up physically and what we give in our workouts and our confidence and being able to challenge our limits. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to leave some information in the description. It's 21 days, like I said. It's also completely self-paced. So once you sign up, once you're in it, you've got access to the materials for life. There's daily lessons. There's over 200 affirmations that I've created for powerful manifesting. Again, you have lifetime access to all this stuff. There's guided meditations. There's a guided meditation that coincides with each weekly lesson, which are super powerful for helping you kind of get into your subconscious mind. There's so much value. I open up about my story. I share with you my biggest tips and tricks and things that have helped me along my journey. And it's really a beautiful inward explorative journey. So if you are interested in that, I'm also going to leave a discount code for you guys. You can use the code philosophy10 at checkout. You'll get 10% off. And please know that in doing so, you're supporting this podcast. You're making this podcast possible and supporting me. And that means the absolute world to me. And it's really my mission to speak about these things and to help people really recognize their full potential and to tap into it. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and follow the links below. There's people that have raved about it. People are loving this program. So I'm so happy to be delivering that to you. So on today's episode, I wanted to dive into the CERN rabbit hole. And this opens an entire can of worms about conspiracy theories in terms of what's going on with this, the existence of parallel universes, Mandela effects. There's a lot of crazy talk that's been circulating on the internet regarding CERN and their particle colliders. So basically, unless you've been living under a rock, CERN on July 5th tested for the very first time their particle collider. And a lot of conspiracy theories were circulating up to that date about what it was going to cause, what it was going to unleash. People were going to be able to see portals in the sky, demons in the sky, portals were going to be opened. Mandela effects are going to be running rampant. There's so much chatter going on about CERN. So I wanted to take today as an opportunity to dive into that and kind of explore a little bit about what I think is going on and even some experiences that I have had since the particle collider has been tested. So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a background about CERN. So CERN is basically the European Organization for Nuclear Research, and they are based out of Switzerland. And this quote is directly from their website, okay? What is the nature of the universe and what is it made of? That is their core mission. That is what they're looking to do. So they're in the process of collecting data, and they've been in the process of collecting data for years. But this time, they're out to prove the existence of another mysterious substance, otherwise known as dark matter. And though scientists largely believe that dark matter is real, none have been able to see or create it. Data collection and power upgrades made to the particle smasher called the Large Hadron Collider could provide researchers one of the best chances to visualize and understand the substance. And this is another quote, if we can figure out the properties of dark matter, we learn what our galaxy is made of. And that's a quote from Josh Ruderman, an associate professor of physics at NYU. And he says that this discovery could be, quote, transformative. So pretty big stuff going on over here at CERN. So let's take a little closer look about what exactly this collider is doing. Inside the collider, superconducting magnets are chilled to roughly minus 456 degrees Fahrenheit. Guys, that is so cold. Colder than space. While two particle beams traveling close to the speed of light are made to collide. Using advanced sensors and monitors, scientists analyze the substances created by those collisions, which replicate conditions similar to the Big Bang. CERN is literally out here trying to replicate the Big Bang. They are trying to play God. This is insane, okay? This is crazy. It allows them to learn about the earliest moments of the universe. Right then and there, they're playing God. They're literally trying to play God. Crazy stuff going on. During the Large Hadron Collider's 4-year experiment, scientists are hoping to find the evidence of dark matter. And as they fire up the machine, protons will spin at nearly the speed of light. The hope, researchers said, is that when they collide, it creates particles resembling the properties of dark matter. So pretty crazy stuff going on. They're actively trying to find dark matter and they're actively trying to find dark energy, which seems a little bit sinister. right? I kind of think it seems pretty sinister. So before I get into the conspiracies regarding this situation, I do want to give a little bit more of a background on CERN because there's been a lot of speculation that CERN is up to evil activity for years now. And I have a clip that I want to share with you guys, which is from their Gothard Base tunnel opening ceremony. And this was back in 2015 or 2016, I believe. So I'm really old school with this. Like I said, I'm a one-man show. Okay, y'all. I got my phone here. I'm just going to go ahead and screen record this and hold this close enough for you guys to hear what's going on, so that we can kind of see what's going on here. I want to kind of fast forward a little bit to the parts that look a bit, well, you know what? I'm going to let you decide for yourself. So let's take a watch here. So if you're listening to this, they've got people marching in like orange suits in this tunnel. And they all look like zombies, by the way. They're all in like construction gear. So this is kind of unsettling off the bat, right? Kind of strange. So let's fast forward a little bit. Like I said, I will remind you that this is for the tunnel opening ceremony. And I could be wrong with this. Maybe someone can correct me, but I think this tunnel has something to do with where the collider was placed for this experiment. I could be wrong, but this is part of CERN's process. So we're going to fast forward here. This is another part of this ceremony. So you've got half-naked people, like, feeling up on each other. Some really strange visuals here. I don't know what's going on. So I want to fast forward to the part that's really disturbing to me. So there's a long sequence of them going through this tunnel, and this is where it starts to get kind of weird, okay? If you're watching this, guys, there is no way that this is not a ritual. I'm sorry, but like, look at what's happening here. You've got these weird cousin it things crawling on the floor. And now this is the really creepy part. Or it's getting to the really creepy part. I'm going to fast forward again. I know there's so many interruptions, but the creepiest part of this to me is this, like, I don't know if satanic is the right word, guys, but this Baphomet looking creature, this man that has like a goat on his head. What does this have to do with opening a tunnel? I'm all for like artistic performative art, but what the hell is this? I mean, this is actually insane. So I'm going to fast forward one more time to the really creepy part of this, or maybe it isn't in this clip. Well, anyways, that's like pretty much what's going on there. Okay. It's twisted. It's messed up. Go look that up for yourself if you guys are curious. Search up on YouTube, Gothard Base Tunnel Opening Ceremony. And like I said, this was like part of CERN. So I'm not really sure. I really should have fact checked like what the, basis or what the involvement with CERN was. Like I said, I'm pretty sure this is the tunnel where they were testing the particle collider. Which is absolutely crazy. And I understand that it's abstract art, but guys, I'm going to insert pictures here as well so you can see just how like ritualistic this looks and messed up it is. And remember, that happened years ago. That was back in 2016. So CERN's been up to some weird shit ever since then. And it's made a lot of people uncomfortable, which is why so many people have speculated about what they're doing here in the first place. And I don't think as many people would be so, saying all this crazy stuff is happening if they didn't know that CERN has had this history of being like very, very strange and performing basically rituals, really disturbing rituals relating to their technology. So that's a little bit of a background on CERN. So now we're going to get into some of the conspiracy theories that have been circulating around. So the biggest theory that I have been seeing and I've been hearing is that this particle collider, whatever they did to replicate that Big Bang scenario, has transferred us into a parallel universe or created a ripple in the time-space continuum to where people can now like alternate between different universes. And keep in mind, everybody was saying, this happened on July 5th, and everybody's like, oh, well, now nothing happened. That's not necessarily the case, okay? The collision of the particles occurred on July 5th, but they're going to be testing and studying this stuff for 4 years afterwards. So they're going to be studying things for the next 4 years related to this particle collision that they were trying to emulate the Big Bang of. So just keep that in mind as you're listening to all of these, conspiracy theories. First one is that it's, transferred us to a parallel universe, which I said already. Second one, and this is really popular as well, is that it's letting dark energy come through, or it's bringing dark energy to the surface more. So a lot of people are speculating that there's going to be more sightings of cryptids. So that's, things like Bigfoot, skinwalkers, any kind of cryptid like that. Paranormal experiences, extraterrestrial experiences, UFO encounters, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to kind of just open us up to that a little bit more. More Mandela effects are going to be occurring because of these parallel universes, which I'm going to explain to you guys a little bit more. Another theory is that those who are empaths or really sensitive to energy are going to see a dramatic increase in their intuitive abilities. And the other theory that I heard is that wherever you are, and this is kind of what I believe personally, is that wherever you are vibrationally is going to be amplified. So if you are in a really low vibration and you're feeling really negative, I think that this collision is going to amplify whatever frequency you're at. Think of reality as train tracks, right? Like the parallel universe idea. And you have all these infinite train tracks that you could choose from of where your future is going to be going. If you're in a really negative headspace, I think that the energy from this collision, even though it's on like a subatomic level, I understand that, but everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. So I think it has the power or the capability to catapult you in a direction wherever your energy is going the most. So if you're on the most optimal timeline that you want, then that's amazing. You're gonna be cruising towards that most optimal timeline. If you're not, and you're not doing anything actively to change that, I kind of feel like it's going to continue to take you on a train track that you might not necessarily want to be on, if that makes sense. So this is a quote from someone that appeared on Twitter, and this is from an astrologer. So she said, "Who has felt a big shift coming for a while now?" And this is, a really popular astrologer who's verified. I'm blanking on what their name is now because I'm looking at some of my notes here. But she says, on July 5th, we are quite literally going to be switching timelines. When CERN is going to turn on their machine thingy, it's opening a portal to go through, and also the unknown is coming in. Keep your positive vibes and energy up. So that's what a lot of people have been saying with that whole collider thing, is like there was a lot of fear circulating around that date. I even was encouraging people, don't drink alcohol, don't do anything to lower your vibration, because when it comes to energy and vibration, I take that stuff pretty seriously. And if you have any ability to, keep yourself at a high vibration, or remind yourself or affirm to yourself that I am aligning with the most optimal timeline, why not take that opportunity, right? So it's pretty crazy stuff. And I had made a TikTok about this, and I was saying basically what I had said a few moments ago, which was whatever vibration you are at now is going to be amplified. But remember that you always have the power to change that. I think we forget sometimes that we are autonomous beings, and we literally have the power to create our reality. So I just want to wrap up some notes on CERN here, and then we're going to talk about a few Mandela effects. So with the whole CERN thing, I always encourage people to say, do what you can in your routine to affirm to yourself that you are actively aligning with the most optimal timeline. Because if this collider has somehow opened Pandora's box to parallel universes, then that would suggest that you, in every single split second decision of your life, have the ability to go from one universe to the next. And if you want to go on this universe that's going to give you the most health, wealth, success, happiness, abundance, you've got to make sure you're doing the things to align with that. So keep your vibrations up. Avoid consuming, media that puts you in a low state, media that puts you in a state of anger, of fear. I know it's hard to avoid, guys, but I'm telling you that media, mainstream mainstream media does not have your back, okay? They want to keep you in a state of fear. They want to keep you in a place where you're easier to control. So cut out the media that keeps you in that fear-based state of being. That's one of the easiest ways to raise your vibration. Look at your diet. Are you eating foods that make you feel alive? Are you eating things that make you feel nourished and feel energized? Or are you eating junk that's just going to, block your third eye and make you feel like crap? Cut the junk food out. Think about who you're surrounding yourself with. Look at your routine. Is your routine cultivating the kind of life that you want to have? These are all things that affect your energy and your vibration, and they're all things that are in your control, luckily. So, harnessing the power of the universe to your ability, to your manifesting, look at your routine, look at the actual tangible things that you can do in this 3D reality to align yourself with the most optimal version of you. That would be my suggestion. That was my suggestion to do before the CERN Collider even occurred. All right. That's like my suggestion to anyone. If you are feeling like you're like lost or stuck, take a seat and reevaluate your life, see where you can make changes and start implementing those changes. And I'm telling you, you will see a difference. So with this CERN thing, fear not. There's a lot of fear that's been circulating. Will people be able to see more, cryptids and things in the sky? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't have the answer to that. I think there's a possibility that if you're someone that's highly intuitive or you're gifted, you have spiritual gifts, I think there's a possibility that those gifts could be amplified. Like I said, I don't know that for certain either. But with any of this stuff, it is really fascinating to me. And so much of the law of attraction and manifestation is rooted in quantum physics, and it's rooted in physics itself and science. A lot of it is science-based, which kind of blows my mind why people are so quick to dismiss it or call it evil, because it's energy, it's frequency, and it's vibration. Look at the works of Tesla. Look at the works of Einstein. This stuff exists and it's real. And yes, maybe we can't fully comprehend it with our five senses or what we have scientifically yet, as clearly we can't, because we're looking to replicate the Big Bang, right? There's so much that we still don't understand. But what we do know is that energy is real, vibration is real, and frequency is real. And all of those things affect how we show up in the world and what reality we're aligning to. That is science. That is not woo-woo, hokey-pokey manifesting. That's literally science. That's quantum physics, right? So I do think it's really interesting how quantum physics is so closely aligned to the law of attraction and manifesting. And that's why I really wanted to talk about this today, because there's so much overlap and there's so much that makes sense when you start going down the rabbit hole of exploring all of this stuff. So that's kind of a little, overall summary of CERN. And if that scared you a little bit, please don't worry. Okay, we're going to get into some more fun things now, and that is Mandela Effects. Now, Mandela Effects are one of the biggest things that I have seen people talking about with the aftermath of this CERN Collider that happened on July 5th. It's July 18th at the time that I'm recording this, and there's already been tons of people on TikTok and on the internet talking about what they've seen occurring with Mandela Effects. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to give you a really quick background on what that is, because some of you may not be familiar. So the Mandela Effect refers to a situation in which a large mass of people believe that an event occurred when it did not. So this is how it got the term Mandela. The term Mandela Effect was first coined in 2009 by Fiona Broome when she created a website to detail her observance of the phenomenon. Broome was at a conference talking with other people about how she remembered the tragedy of former South African President Nelson Mandela's death in a South African prison in the 1980s. However, Nelson Mandela did not die in the 1980s in a prison. He passed away in 2013. And as Broome began to talk to other people about her memories, she learned that she was not alone. Others remembered seeing news coverage of his death, as well as a speech by his widow. So Broome was shocked that such a large mass of people could remember the same identical event in such detail when it never happened. And encouraged by her book publisher, she began her website to discuss what she called the Mandela Effect and other incidents like it. So essentially, the Mandela Effect is basically like mass misremembering of something, or so it might seem. A lot of people think that Mandela effects are actually caused by the parallel universe theory. So the theory is that in all of these infinite parallel universes that exist, one little tiny thing might be slightly different. In this case, the thing that was slightly different in all of these parallel universes is that Nelson Mandela was alive in one of them. And in the other one, Nelson Mandela died in the prison in the 80s. So keep that in mind. They're just little tiny things that are so slightly different that you might not even notice it right away. So these are some popular Mandela effects that people have been noticing since the CERN Collider on July 5th. So the first one is Chick-fil-A. There has been a huge debate over how Chick-fil-A is spelt, okay? I want you to picture in your head right now, how do you think Chick-fil-A is spelt? Picture the sign, picture yourself going there, getting some waffle fries, getting some lemonade. What does that sign look like in your head? Okay? I remember it being spelt a certain way, and I always remember saying to myself, they don't spell the word chick how it's meant to be spelled, okay? So I'm going to put a picture up here. This is how Chick-fil-A is now spelt. Now, if you remember it being spelt this way, let me know in the comments or something, because I remember it being spelt C-H-I-C. I don't remember there ever being a K in Chick-fil-A. And I remember so many times telling myself they always spelled Chick-fil-A wrong, because it was always like chic in my head. And I always made an effort in my head to say like they don't spell it right. I've spoken to some people that remember it just being spelled C-H-I-K. I have not met a single person who remembers it being spelled C-H-I-C-K. So if you remember it that way, let me know, because that to me is absolutely a Mandela effect. And I think there's actually been Mandela effects with them in the past, where there was at one point they did spell it C-H-I-C-K, and then it changed to being spelt incorrectly. I remember there's been Mandela effects for a while before this whole CERN thing, but I swear to you, after CERN, I do not ever remember seeing Chick-fil-A being spelled C-H-I-C-K. That's ridiculous. Next one we're going to do, double stuffed Oreos. How do you think that's spelt in your head? Picture that word, right? Think about how that's spelt. Well, let me tell you, I'm going to put a picture on the screen again. Guys, if you're listening to this, it is spelt double stoof with one F. How does that even make sense? It literally does not make sense. Why would they be called double stoof Oreos? I posted a poll on my Instagram about this a few days ago rather. And a lot of people said they remembered it being spelled double stoof. And I'm like, I do not remember it ever being spelled that way. In what universe would it make sense that it's spelled like that? And that makes me wonder then, are those people, have they been in a different parallel universe this entire time? And like the 55% of people that agree with me, like we've been in a different universe? Super crazy. The last one that I have, and then I'll get into my personal examples of Mandela effects, is for anybody who likes to drink some alcohol. There is a blue beverage, okay? It's got like glitter in it. It's called Hypnotic. How do you remember Hypnotic being spelled? Think about it, okay? Well, apparently, Hypnotic, I want to confirm this, is not spelled the same way. Yeah, no, absolutely not. I remember actually in college, I remember my friends telling me about Hypnotic, and I remember I wanted a bottle of it because I thought it was so cool at the time because it was blue and glittery. And I remember it being spelled Hypnotik, right? Like Hypnotic. I always remember that the end of it was spelt wrong because it was like not fully correct. But let me tell you, all of a sudden now, it's spelled Hpnotik. Actually, I remember the Q being there. But why is there no Y? That just like does not make sense. And even looking at it now, I'm going to put a picture of the logo here so you guys can see. It doesn't even look right. It always had a Y. It always had a Y. I'm telling you, it always had a Y. No, that ain't right. That ain't right. So that's my last like mainstream Mandela effect. And these are all things that people have been talking about on the internet that they've noticed. Now, I have a few Mandela effects that have happened in my house, and my mom and I have agreed that these are absolutely Mandela effects. So the first one, on July 5th, I was meditating. This is the day of the particle collider. And I was kind of just like going about my day. I wasn't really actively thinking about anything. I don't like to live from a fear-based thought system, right? So I wasn't afraid of anything. I was just meditating and I was feeling really chill. And I came out of my room and I look out the front window and I'm like, where the hell did that tree come from? That tree has never been there. Guys, it is like the tree doesn't even make sense. It's like this tall triangular, like Christmas tree shaped bush in the middle of a garden where everything else is flat. It makes no sense and is blocking a window to our house. And so I asked my mom, I'm like, am I crazy, or do you not remember that tree being there? Because I certainly don't remember it being there. And she was like, what? Because she would say to me, she was like, I see you pull in the driveway and I can see when you're in your car and you're about to come in the house. And now all of a sudden this tree is like completely blocking that view. We were like, there's no way. There's no freaking way. I am telling you, like, I do not remember that tree being there. It's obstructed the whole view of the window. It doesn't even make sense because my mom used to be able to see my car, no problem. So we were like, okay, well, let's look back at pictures of the house, like that we've had, on the internet and stuff like that. And we looked at pictures of the house, and that tree is in the pictures of the house. And this is the crazy thing, is that with Mandela effects, you can't even find evidence of it ever being the way that you remember it being. So we couldn't even find the evidence of that tree never being there, but we both remember that it was never there, which is absolutely insane to me. The other thing that I want to say really quickly here is that, there's like really high lights in our house that have not worked since we moved in. And I even remember saying to, like, when we had family visiting, like, oh, we're going to have to get someone special to change that light bulb because it's like really high up. And it never worked. We tested all the switches. We had the electrician come. He couldn't fix that light. All of a sudden, this was like, I think maybe July 7th or something. My mom woke up at 2 a.m. and that light was on. It was just on. It was just working. The switch was going, no problem. How do you explain that? For 5 months, that light was not working and that switch was not working. And all of a sudden, that light was working. And I remember for a fact that it was never working before. So it's like, how do you explain that? How does that even make sense? It doesn't make sense. So my final thoughts on this, guys, I think the biggest thing we're going to see with this CERN Collider is Mandela Effects. And I think if you're someone that's highly intuitive, you're going to see an increased strength in your intuitive abilities or psychic abilities. I think that's a possibility as well. But I am keeping my eyes out for Mandela Effects now, and I'm really paying attention to things. So if you have any Mandela Effects that you have noticed, drop them down in the comments below. I'd be super curious to hear if you have any. And if you enjoyed today's episode, please hit that like button if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe as well. It would mean the absolute world to me. You're supporting the show for free. Same goes for Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you hit that subscribe button, if you hit the follow button, and if you leave me a review, I would really appreciate that. That really helps me out, helps get this podcast out to some more eyes and ears. But yes, my friends, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. This was a little bit more down the conspiracy theory rabbit hole, but I am so interested in conspiracy theories and talking about this kind of stuff. And I know it doesn't necessarily go with the philosophy of fitness, and I've thought about maybe rebranding the podcast into something a little bit more esoteric, but let me know if you like these kinds of episodes. I really would be genuinely curious to hear. I certainly like making them and, talking about these kinds of things, but if you guys are interested, let me know. If not, cool. I'm probably still going to make them anyway, but I'm kind of just trying to see, like, if I want to keep this podcast called The Philosophy of Fitness, because I feel like a lot of the topics that I want to talk about nowadays aren't really necessarily fitness related. But this is definitely mindset related. So that's all I have for you, my friends. I'm sending you so much health, wealth, success, happiness, abundance, love, and joy. And I will see you next time. Bye.